And welcome back. Today we're flying out a German MiG-21bis, and people wanted this plane in the game for a very long time now. So long in fact that by now it's finally added. It kinda lost all of its value. Back then when it got added and people wanted Germany to have one, then they got the F4F and now also the 21bis. If this happened over a year ago I would have been completely against it. Right now it's not that much of a problem. I get it, Russian mains, people that fly Russia, people that fly Americans, they want their authentic planes in their line. I get it. The thing is, right now this thing is not that much of a threat anymore. It's still a very capable aircraft. It's still one of the better planes in the Russian top tier lineup. The problem is, however, you now just have better stuff flying around. The Viggen, the MLD, the EJ Kai are gonna run circles around this thing. And they will just give you a very hard time. And right now what you're seeing in the background is, well, basically every game. The MLD spam is rampant. Everyone is flying Russia, and you will face, well, Russians almost every match. I haven't been in that team yet. I haven't flown it that much. I only got about 30 kills. I do have 250 in the other one, and it still is the same plane. So I didn't really need that much experience to know how this thing behaves. Fighting 3 MLDs or any swept wing variant of these MiGs at the same time is a pain in the ass. This thing, for the pros and cons, it's decently fast, there's insane acceleration, there's a good turn rate. The problem is you bleed so much speed doing so that, well, when there's multiple versus one, you're going to have a hard time staying alive. You can of course get away with it by trying to force a really low speed fight so that they start stalling out and you can start going vertical, but by the time you get to that point, you are likely already dead. I'm running the 4 R60s with the 2 R13Ms because right now the R60s are pretty susceptible to flares and the R13 isn't as much, and it has a very good range, of which you will see a little bit later on. I'm gonna start off with my average experience here. So on average, your team dying within 3 minutes and you having to 1v6, and I'm just putting this in here. Normally I don't do this because it's just very annoying to fly right now. And it's not because the plane is bad, it's completely the meta that's been changed, the teams that are very dominant right now, and all of it together just makes for a little bit of a shit mix. I'm using the R13 here, I'm pretty far away, hoping that connects, and it does, and that's gonna be the only kill I'm going to get this entire match. Because you can tell my team is just falling apart, and I'm staying alive, but I'm not really doing anything because I can't. I dropped in from the clouds, I got my kill, and that's kind of how I fly it. I try to get a kill early on someone that's not really paying attention, try to shoot a missile from a blind spot. The problem is that just your team disintegrates so fast that you can't really stop it. Once that snowball starts rolling, it's over. There's not much you're gonna be doing. It doesn't matter how good you are. You only have limited countermeasures, and the countermeasures did get changed this patch. They're a lot more effective now, and some people have been asking my thoughts on that, and I think it's a good thing. Having better flares makes it so that awareness is rewarded. I see the missile, I pop a flare, and it's not RNG if it's going to go through or not. Well, it might still be a little bit, but it won't be as apparent. And at the same time, missiles aren't as potent, so we start going a little bit back to the gun being good. However, there is one big caveat to this, and that's simply that it increases the power creep once again. Having no flares right now is such a big detriment that people will start focusing you just because you don't have them. And if you don't have them, 9J, Magic, whatever they have is shot at you, you're going to have a bad time, and people will prioritize you now because you will be out of the match very quickly, very easily, because you do not have flares, and they are going to take note of that. So now planes at like 10-0, 10-3 that get up tiered and don't have flares, they're going to get shafted a little bit. It doesn't really necessarily that change that much in terms of how to fly them, but it just makes the other side just that extra little bit stronger, which, well, look at it the way you want to. I think in terms of gameplay it's good, in terms of balance it's not very good, and you can tell in the background yet again I have multiple of these on me. I'm trying to get them to break off, try to make it 1v2s, 1v1s maybe, and it's just not happening. I noticed that they're getting a little bit closer, and the top one is definitely an MLD because he is just hauling ass, and the acceleration of this thing for something like the MiG-23M is more than sufficient. It's good. The MLD, however, it's just going to run your ass down, and there's not much you're going to be doing about it. The fuel rate, or the fuel burn rate on this thing is also very, very insane. So you can elevate this a little bit by sometimes throttling down to 100%, then scrolling up once or twice if you do have it on your scroll wheel, and it will go into this like first stage afterburner kind of thing, where you don't really accelerate, but you don't really lose that much speed, where you will burn way less fuel as well. So it's a little bit worth it. JA37 is on the runway. He easily could have helped me out here. We probably could have won this game, but no, he's just gonna bail out on the runway because it's 4v2, and he's going to spectate me die in a 3v1. If I had hit that shot just a little bit earlier, I might have been able to win this. I still doubt it, because this gun is absolutely horrendous. It's still a GSH-23, it's still a water pistol. It does decent damage, just it's too slow, it's too unwieldy. And all of that together just makes it a little bit of an, well, a mix of sadness. And here we go. At this point I'm simply too slow. It doesn't really matter what I do anymore. I can't really accelerate away. I can stay out of his guns for a little bit, but he's going to force the raid fight here. They both are. And because I keep having to change trajectories, I'm at this point just too slow. I can try to defense fly a little bit. I can try to get out of the missiles, out of their guns. But at a certain point, it's just too much. And it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how badly they mess up. You're just going to take the L. I'm not even going to play this entire clip. You already see where this is going. This is I think 4 minutes into the match. And I'm dead. That's it. There you go. Yeah, 4 minute lifespan. That's from takeoff till explosion. 4.2 minutes. Yes, I pressed the help button there. I wish I actually got some. And here we are getting an actual piece of gameplay. It's not going to be the most interesting, but I think it showcased the plane the best of what I can get out of it right now. The teams are too one-sided to really do anything. And the problem with it is, if this was a one-sided team versus F4Es, if this was a one-sided team versus F5Es, or something that doesn't just outrun you and then can also force a turn fight and still almost beat you, it just isn't very enjoyable. And I can show you the one match where I get a few kills with my gun and go like, whoa, look how good I am, but that's not what this channel is about. I'm trying to inform you guys, and I will try to do so as best as I can. The MiG-21bis is a plane I probably won't be taking out again. It's simply just, it's power crapped into oblivion. It's too little, too late. It used to be a good plane. It used to be one of the best planes. And while the performance didn't change that much, the afterburner did get changed a little bit, so it has a little bit less power, and the flap hold is absolutely hideous, opposed to the last video that I did. Other than that, it still flies largely the same. The problem is, you're gonna have planes like the EJ Kai flying around, the Viggen, the MLD. And the problem with that is that mostly you actually have to bring chaff. The thing is, because you drop 2 flares per pop, you also, well, drop through chaff. Which means that you are going to burn through your countermeasures extremely fast because you drop 4 per pop, and you don't want that. So I just ended up running default, just the flares. As you saw in the first clip, I did flare a little bit too much, I did waste them a little bit, but I ran out there because I only have half of what I can have. So there we use the R13M, a little bit extra range, a little bit extra speed, and I think that's going to connect, so I'm going to switch off targets and help my teammate out. Unfortunately, my teammate goes down instantly after I make that decision. He comes head on, I have it warmed up, no chance. In case he starts turning a little bit prematurely, I will just shove an R60 right up the side of him, but at this point I have so much more energy than him, that is not really a problem. I can just go up. He doesn't want to take the head on, he's way too slow to do anything. We use the gun a little bit, and at speeds like that, this gun is more than sufficient. Stop pre-warming the missile, I have the R13 selected because I'm going to need an extra bit of range because he's going very, very fast. So we lock him up, go a little bit sideways, shoot the missile, and that should reach him. If he doesn't dodge it properly, then he is going to die. And there we go, and that's going to be kill number 5 already. And that's just how quickly these matches end, and they end so damn quick that you can't really stop the flow of the game. Your input as a player is extremely limited. If you start squadding with someone that's maybe in the Russian teams, then yeah, this thing is going to be a lot better than right now. And the way I fly this thing is really just bouncing between targets and trying to keep people locked down. Because if you get on someone, there's a very slim chance they're actually going to get you off. If you have the room to actually stick on him, because of course you still bleed a lot of speed with that delta, and you really do want to be careful with that, because once you start going around 800-900 you will start bleeding even more of it, and you will find yourself going very slow very quickly. And here what I'm doing is, instead of turning in, I'm just gonna outrun the missile. Way more reliable. He turns, he goes for me, and then he extends. Looking at him, I get the ability to go for the J7 here, and I get a little bit too close here, so I can't use the missile. And then the second I lock him up, he actually notices me. And I'm not gonna air brake this guy, I just want to push him slow, so I'm gonna use my energy for a little bit. And I know that he turns a little bit worse than me. First turn, I should be able to get out of his gun range, and his missiles are very bad at close range, so I'm just trying to keep him slow. I will win the long fight. The thing is, I have teammates around, and so does he, so I don't want to stick on him. He dies as a result of that, and I killed him without actually having to do anything other than just stick on his 6 for a little bit. Now we go back for the MiG-21 here. He is diving on a teammate, he is completely preoccupied, and this is just kind of the way that I fly this. I switch targets a lot, and you really need to be aware, because right now the RWR seems to be a little bit buggy as well. On multiple occasions, very often, I get radar locked from somewhere, and I see the plane is coming ahead of me, and I get the radar ping from behind. Jaguar cleans him up, not a big deal, and that's going to be game basically. There's one guy flying Mach 10 towards the middle of the battlefield, so what I did was I dove to the deck here, careful to not rip, and trying to stay low, turned my radar off to not giving an RWR warning, and I just pitched up under him. I'm not sure if he's AFK or not, but this is the way I would engage it anyway. He dies with a water pistol, and that's it. I really use this thing to just stay above the battlefield and patrol small areas of the maps. You cannot do the same thing as an MLD or something like a Viggen. You cannot zoom around the map thinking you're going to get success. You need to play a little bit more crafty. And what I do here is I use the R13, I come in from the clouds, I try to stay in his blind spot. This is the start of the match. He's going fast on the deck, he's probably looking right behind him. They're not shooting any missiles at him yet, and my missile will be significantly closer than those guys. So by the time he starts flaring, my missile is probably already in his ass. And those are the kills I try to get. I try to get the early kills. By not allowing their team to start killing yours, you win. If you fail with that, and 100% of you are going to fail, me included, everyone is. It is too RNG. You don't know what the enemy is going to do, and nor what your team is. Sometimes you will have to play early game, you need to start killing people very quickly, but other games that just get you killed instantly because your team isn't there to back you up. So you can't really make a game plan here. So you're not very likely to start brute forcing your wins at this current date. If you're watching this in 5 months from now. So if you are watching this for 5 months from now and you're like, I'm starting to win everything, I'm getting like 20 kills per game. Might be, right now, it's not the case. If the plane gets changed, and I mean the plane itself, because the matchmaking definitely is. If the plane, flight model wise, missile wise, loadout wise, gets any different, I will let you know in the description, as well as the comment section. I will let you know somewhere down there. I'm not gonna know for sure what I'm gonna do in 5 months from now, but I will let you know somehow. So yeah, that's basically it. MiG-21bis, extremely capable plane. It's just a little bit in a tough spot right now. Just too late, as I said before. They should have added this thing earlier, if not at all. I don't see the worth of it. Maybe in ground obby it's a little bit better, because it's more of that interceptor kind of role. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way anymore in this game, and you're just kind of forced to loiter in small parts of the map and single people out. And just like this game, I'm just all over the place kinda. I'm running people down and I'm trying to catch people, and I can't. And what I did right there on the screen, which is why I'm using this, I throttled down a little bit, and now I scrolled up. Look at my fuel consumption. It's not that high, and I'm also not losing that much speed. We'll still have my afterburner on, so that's a little bit of a trick. Not sure how applicable that is, but overall it saves me a lot of fuel, and it makes it so that you don't have to cruise on 100%, because on 100% this thing is abysmally bad. It's too slow, and it doesn't really get anything out of the engine, whereas with a little bit of an in-between mode, it's pretty good, and you can save some fuel while still not being painfully slow. And the MiG-23 that has been camping the airfield for quite a little bit now. I'm gonna be diving in from the side here. I should have turned my radar off, but I didn't. No big deal though, because he's not really paying attention. I'm gonna get real close to him. Still have 3 missiles, and I still have a lot of ammo. He's just flying straight. Shoot a missile, he flares just in time. He gets out of the way. Unfortunately, he gets soaked by the super soaker and he dies regardless. And I really hate doing the outro, so see ya.